everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my January wrap up of the books I read in January. So I read 5 books this month, as you guys just saw, and this way round, so from top to bottom is the order of which I read them in. I also wanted to say that I have also been working on The Great Gatsby in my English A level, so I've also been reading this book and annotating it and working on it alongside of these other books that I finished this month. So the first book that I finished this month was Stephen King, The Outsider, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I'm pretty sure I ranked this 5 stars on my Goodreads account. I just thoroughly enjoyed this and I thought it was really good book. It was a nice thriller. The twist that came in this book came at the perfect timing for me personally. I was starting to get a bit bored and felt like the book was getting a little teetering on being repetitive, and the plot twist that we had in this book came at just the right time for me. If any of these books that I've read this month interest you and you'd like to see like a full review, then I will let you then let me know and I will definitely do a singular book review. And I'll have like a portion where there's no spoilers and then a portion where there is a few spoilers, so we can talk more about the book. Next I read Home by Harlan Coben. I enjoyed this book. I think I was a bit contradicted by it. I think I gave it either 4 or 3 stars. And that's not a bad star rating. I did enjoy the story. I thought it was very interesting. I think I actually gave it 4 stars, and the reason for that was the ending, because the ending shocked me. Like where the other boy was completely shocked me. It was a quick easy read as well. Like you don't get many words on a page, so you find yourself going through it quite quickly, which is nice. But if you've got like a busier schedule, like a busier week, this will definitely be one that you can read. I've also picked up another Harlan Coben book, as you guys would have seen in my book haul, and that was definitely influenced heavily by the fact that I really enjoyed this book, and I loved like the ending. For me is what gave it that extra star, because I didn't see the ending coming. Next I have the only non-fiction book in this wrap up video, and that is The Prison Doctor by Dr. Amanda Brown. This book was very interesting. I was so intrigued by this, and it was just more of a factual read for me, but I just really enjoyed this book. I thought it was well written. It kept me entertained whilst also maintaining the seriousness that the book wanted to give. There is some really heart-wrenching moments in this book. I also like the way that Dr. Amanda Brown herself chose to choose a slightly different career path from being a doctor, because she didn't want to apply to the rules and the 10-minute time slot per person, because she needed longer than that with a patient, which makes me respect her as well as a doctor, and her career choice was one that I think she definitely made for herself. I made myself a cup of tea before sitting down to film this, and it's just so good. Also this month I read The Binding by Bridget Collins. I was so excited to read this. It was one of the only fantasy books that was in here. Well, it is the only fantasy book that was in this collection / young adult. I gave this 3 stars, which I feel like could be me being a bit harsh, because in all honesty the style of the writing for me and the way that the story was possibly a 4 stars. But the reason why I lost a star for this is because I just didn't find the ending satisfying whatsoever. There was one character where they spent, this might be a spoiler, so if you don't want to get here's something that's partially a bit of a spoiler for this book, then skip ahead. But for one character in this book, they go through the whole thing, and you have a whole, like literally a third of the book is dedicated to the burning of his book and the memories that he obtains from the burning of his book. And when this other guy's book then also gets burned, we don't hear anything of the memories that he's obtained. We don't know if anything is missing from the memories that he has learned from his book or not. We don't know anything, and just the ending I felt like was really unsatisfying. I'm not sure if this is part of a series, but I was just a bit disappointed. The overall story and type of writing for a young adult book was really nice, so I feel like the book and its ideas was 4 stars, but the way that it finished for me just took that extra star away and left me giving it 3 stars, which basically means that I enjoyed the book, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about the romance in this book as well, because I feel like the romance was quite a big part of the plot. However, we don't hear much about it in the book, so I'm not 100% sure on my feelings for this book. I feel like it's going to be a love-hate relationship. The more and more that I think back on it, the more and more I enjoyed the book, so my rating may change. Again, I'm someone whose ratings change depending on other books I read throughout the year. The final book that I read in January was Anne Cleeve's The Glass Room. This was a good book. However, I called who the murderer was going to be. And in my opinion, I just don't like being able to call the murderer. If I know who the murderer is when I'm halfway through the book, it's not entertaining. It was also quite a frustrating read because some of the people that they interviewed and focused on more in this book, I was just thinking, why haven't you talking to this person more? Why haven't you talking to the person that turns out to be the killer more? Why haven't you talking to the son and the mother more? Because there was just some people that they just didn't talk to, and the author just skipped through them, it felt. So I definitely, it doesn't discourage me from reading more of her books. I definitely want to read a little bit more from this author because this is the first book that I read from her. It might have just been the wrong kind of context for me. The murders were very interesting though. I did like the plot. The way that she played with the murders being about what the writers wrote is very impressive, and I thought that was a very, very clever decision plot, right? Like, that was a very, very clever decision for her plot. I thought it was very engaging. It was also like, it was very interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed the scheme of things and the ideas. The ideas in this book were there for me. I really enjoyed them. I thought, especially using like the own writer's crime scenes as the way that you murder them is very, very entertaining to me. And all in all, I feel like this month was a really, really good reading week for me. I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of these books. The Binding, The Prison Doctor, Home, and Stephen King, The Outsider. I really enjoyed those 4 books. Anne Cleeves' The Glass Room is the only one that I am teeter-tottering about, that I'm not 100% sure on. The only thing that I didn't like about The Binding was the ending, but like I said, I thought it was well written for a young adult novel and the ideas were there. But yeah, that's everything. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please do like and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here and would like to see more videos from me, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!